Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode in the garage gym. Working on the $50 Sunny spin bike today, replacing all the bearings both on the wheel and on the bottom bracket or where the pedals are. So, the first step is you start taking off this chain guard, then you start working on these tensioners or eveners for the wheel itself. Then you go ahead and start working on the axle. And, it's a 40-pound flywheel, so it wasn't easy moving this around, but I have been lifting some weights lately, so hopefully it wasn't real bad. I almost caught it on the plastic, inside of the plastic chain guard here, and almost like right about here, I almost ripped that plastic off, but took it over to the bench, put it in a vise, and really started on removing the bearings. Um, there are actually two bearings on either side of the wheel, and they're a certain size, certain dimensions. So once you see them, once you take some of this hardware off, you can actually see the little teeny tiny numbers stamped into the side of the bearing. So that'll tell you what bearings to buy. Um, and I'm kind of testing them here with my finger to see if they're making noise. The whole idea is they were definitely making noise, so I'm pretty sure they were bad. So I used a extension from a socket set to beat them out of there, so you can see that one went flying across the room. And then I started on the what they call the bottom bracket, which actually has two bearings. They're a little bit bigger. It's real important if you have a set of snap ring pliers, because there's these little snap rings that kind of bite into the axle shaft. So you can kind of see me loosening them up here. And then I couldn't get it apart, so I had to resort to a gear pulling mechanism where those jaws grab on, and man, that thing popped off. There was a lot of force holding that on. And here's another shot of the snap ring pliers. This is on the other side there. Um, so then the axle just slides out. That's a good shot of the actual bearings. And the axle shaft might look like it's a little torn up, but all that was just a little bit of grease. And then, I just beat the bearings out. I ordered new ones. So there's the numbers 6004Z and 6001 2RS. Um, and basically, you just reassemble the bike, uh, in reverse. So here I am tapping in the the new bearings with a rubber mallet, and I'm kind of moving my little Wahoo speed sensor out of the way that I put on in a previous video. And like I said, you got to tap them in from both sides. Some people press them in. I don't know how you would do that on this setup, but that's tapping them in on the bottom bracket where the pedals go on both sides. Um, so now I got four new bearings on the bike, and I'm starting the reassembly process, putting the pedals in, getting them lined up, and then there's a couple little screws or little nuts that you have to screw in to reassemble, and then that was just tapping in a little plastic cover over top of the screw. And you can see now everything spins really nice. It's totally silent, and getting back into the reassembly. So put the axle shaft back, put all those little tensioners on, and this is me trying to pick that 40-pound flywheel up and get it lined up just right. And while I was doing all that, I soaked the chain in motor oil because there was some stuff on the chain. I don't know whether that was what was making most of the noise or whether it was the bearings, but either way, I soaked the chain in a baggie of motor oil overnight. Then I opened it up the next day, and it's pretty messy, but you just have to go through and clean all the excess oil off. I think some people would probably say that there's like a lithium grease kind of chain lube that you can use for this, but like I said, I just used motor oil. and you know, let it soak, and cleaned it up real good. And you know, now it's back to starting the assembly process, and you just line it up on the big chain ring for where the pedals are, and then you got to make sure that you get it on there before you put the flywheel back in place, which I didn't do, so I had to go back and do it again, but I didn't feel like showing that to you in video. And then basically, you're just pumping everything back together. You got to get a bunch of stuff lined up properly on those front forks. So it's the thing that, you know, allows you to have tension on the chain. And then you know, slip this plastic cover back over, put all those screws back in, and then these are those little tensioners. So there's one on either side of the hub, and kind of like see how it moves it left and right, because it's kind of sucking it in and tightening up the chain as you're doing that. And once you get it tight, you can I like the Sunny bike because it's got those wheels. You just wheel it back into place, and pretty much the project was done. So it's nice and quiet now, and I really like the geometry after I changed everything. So thanks for watching.